the whole subject of sustainability, I'd say, wasn't discussed 10 years ago. So it's great that this is happening now.
10 years ago, we wouldn't have heard of BREEAM or LEED or any of the sort of things that we're signing up to now.
Before, it would have been maybe a form-filling exercise and a set of drawings that coloured up and showed it. Now there's more of the analytical wanting to see the input and outputs. And if we made one change here, how does that affect the overall design, building and scheme? It's energy efficiency, it's materiality.
I think for a long time, sustainability was regarded as a box-ticking exercise, where people would bring in built-on technologies to tick the box of having achieved a certain level of performance. I think what we're now seeing is the more intelligent use of analytical tools, digital tools to build a design model and then interrogate it at a far earlier stage and repeatedly reiterates that analytical process, which allows you to get to a far better result.
So 10 years ago, I was actually just starting college, so I wasn't in the industry at that point, but from speaking to my colleagues and others in the industry, it just seems to be a bigger awareness part of the conversation. 10 years ago, people weren't really asking about the efficacy, how much energy does this use, or weren't asking so much perhaps.
There's definitely a new language. I think we hear people asking about zero carbon, about decarbonisation, about fossil fuels, and to be able to explain to them the advantages, disadvantages of different technologies that's a new thing. There is definitely an engagement at the client side.
We're in a time of awakening now with specifiers. So many are questioning the material sources from where they came from and the manufacturing processes that we implement. And we're really happy to see people taking ownership of what they're sourcing. Over the next few years, what we'd really like to help people work through is understanding those points further, so that any kind of misconceptions there could be in what certification actually means, or any concerns people may well have in places that material is sourced from or processed in. We want to be able to help the forest management certification programs really kind of lift the veil on that, so that everyone is better informed, because the more informed we are, the better decisions we'll all make.
All these kinds of elements people now want to visually see, and with the kind of growth in 3D models and analytical software that can give that information, that is becoming more of a kind of expectation.
In the last few months with our clients and funds and their investors are really looking to increase the sustainability on their portfolio and to really reduce the carbon footprint within their portfolio.
There's almost a sort of confluence of global opinion. So if you look at a global level and think about global warming, or you look at a very local level and think about air quality, it's all coming together, and it does feel as if there's a real push now. That's very, very different. It was individual people doing either what they thought was right, felt was right, or believed was right. Whereas now, I think that's the biggest difference. I think there's a push and a pull from all different sides.
Although the built environment as a whole has been highlighting the sustainability agenda for a while, it has become apparent that it is no longer a byproduct, but a key facet of the process.
Having better access to digital tools to allow us to interrogate the design, and having clients appointed consultants to do a little bit more work up front, bringing those things together as a collaborative approach very much allows us to understand the environmental performance of buildings far earlier in the process, which is when all that work really should be done.
We've seen a marked shift now in the last sort of 15 months, I think, just before lockdown, and this much greater interest into sustainable building products, and that's been a really sort of positive, really interesting move that we've witnessed.
We're definitely seeing clients question the energy source in their buildings. And I think that's often because there's a push from higher up. So if we're working with schools who perhaps are part of an academy trust, a number of our academy trusts are Church of England, so the diocese is suddenly saying you need to have an agenda around decarbonisation, then people are starting to ask us, well, what does that mean for me, and what does it mean for the energy source for the building?
It's not just about how much energy this product runs, is using day to day. It's about how is it distributed, how is it packaged, how much waste is involved in the manufacture process. So it's understanding that people are more concerned now, and rightly they should be, and having that information to hand, and just considering how you're manufacturing and being responsible with your products.